this is Tommy Krash from Leviathan Project, and you're listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast.
How you doing, man? Where are you at?
I am in Orlando, Florida, in my closet where I recorded this album.
Really?
Yes, it's a walk-in closet. If I put my hands out, I'll touch the walls.
Did a lot of recording in there?
That's where I do it all. Yeah,
that's the ISO booth.
That's everything, dude. Yeah,
that's where all the magic happens, huh?
Yeah, I think Tim has like a dedicated room in his house where he does the vocals, and this is how we all do it.
Excellent. Well, let's just jump right in. So, where did the idea for Leviathan come about, and how did you guys all put it together? Because you spread apart pretty far, right?
Yeah, we're all over the map. Like I said, I'm in Orlando, Florida. The idea came with just me in my studio, kind of dicking around with some guitar sounds. Mm-hmm. And I came up with the song Leviathan. And I had no intention of doing anything with it. I talked to one of my friends, Chris Aiken, who's on the Classic Metal Show. And I said, hey, you got any ideas of singers who might want to do this? And he said, why don't you call Ripper? And I'm like, okay. I never really thought about that. I actually had a couple other guys in mind, but I just happened to be talking to Chris one day, and then once Tim did it, I got Bobby from Death involved.
Right. Well, he's a Florida guy too, right?
Yeah, he's on the other side of Orlando, so he actually never came here to record. So anyway, we put the first song Leviathan together. It sounded so good that we're like, well, why don't we do a second one? And then it just kind of snowballed from there. And then I was initially looking at shopping the EP, to some labels, and I got in touch with Chip Ruggieri, who I had worked with back in the early '90s through a Brittany Fox connection, and he helped us, find some labels that might be a good fit. So here we are.
And here you are. So I'm going to just sidetrack for a second. Old Brittany Fox fan. Actually saw you guys a bunch of times. I think you guys opened for Poison. I think I saw you once or twice on some run through upstate New York or somewhere. Yeah,
that would have been probably the original lineup, I believe, of Brittany Fox. I came in 2007 and worked with them for about a year. I did some recording, and we did a tour, and always tried to get something kicking off over the past few years, but it just never works out with those guys.
Yeah. So getting back to Leviathan, was all of this was done by remotely then? Or did you guys ever end up getting into a studio together?
No, the only one I played with was a local drummer who helped us out on that. But no, even though Bobby lives in Orlando, the lead guitar player, never saw him during the process for this. Matt, our bass player and kind of co-writer that helps out on a lot of stuff. He's up in Pennsylvania, and Ripper's in Ohio.
Right. So was that originally the plan, or was that just something that came about because of the pandemic?
No, that was, like I said before, there was no plan for this thing. It just kind of happened. So the good thing about recording now is that, you can be anywhere you want. Had we been in the same room, it would have been completely different. Yeah. Completely different. Because I spent
You good?
Hey.
Now it's not showing me to you.
I can continue and just throw a picture in from here if you want.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, you're back. Hey.
All right, dude. I'm going to just have to hold this thing then, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, that's fine. I won't keep it too long then, because I don't want to make you...
Well, that's fine.
Okay.
So where were we as far as the recording, I think?
Yeah, all together. You guys are spread apart. We covered that.
Yeah.
I think it's where we were.
Yeah. So I would send out the initial tracks to everybody, and they would, do their parts, and they'd email me or Dropbox me their stuff, and I would put it in and mix it. And, it worked really good. So for instance, when Tim sent me his stuff, I didn't have to go back and say, hey, can you change this or try this? Because Matt and I had already sent him guide vocals for most of the songs. So he kind of had a good idea what he was doing. One of the songs called It's Their World, he wrote that one with us. but I sent him the music and he came up with the melody and lyrics remotely. So it worked good.
That's perfect. So I have a question for you. I'm all about nostalgia and all about old school, but why cassette?
Well, originally the label wanted to just do 2 digital EPs, and then in August or somewhere around there, and we're going to do a CD, the full CD. We'll put it out. And I'm an old school guy, and the idea of putting out our first EP digital, it just seemed boring to me.
I agree.
Yeah, it seemed kind of boring. So I suggested, how about cassette? Because, vinyl's a fortune, especially for a band that nobody's ever heard of. All right. Cassette was inexpensive, and it's cool. And it's a conversation point for us.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I was just trying to think about what I thought about cassettes before I did this, because I mean, I have millions of them, but I don't even think I have a player anymore.
And we talked about that, the label and we're like, well, hey, it's, metal people like stuff, like collecting stuff.
Absolutely.
And we're like, well, hey, if half the people don't have cassette players, it's a cool thing to put on their shelf. And, if they see us play ever or see one of us play, they can get it signed. And, it's cheap too. It's $10 for it. So I still haven't got my copy yet. So I'm hoping to see how they came out.
So you do all the writing and that kind of stuff. Are you doing all the mixing and production as well?
Yeah, pretty much it's all me. Like I said, Matt, our bass player, a good friend of mine, he helps, I'll usually send him a song with the chorus done and like a verse. And I'll be like, hey man, put your stamp on it. And he's a great singer. Mm-hmm. So he actually, like I said, he'll provide Tim with some guide vocals, and we do it that way. But yeah, pretty much it's me. I do the website. I came up with the logo. I make the lyric videos. It's my thing,
right.
Pretty much.
With that being said, then, is there something you want your listeners or your fans to take away from after listening to a Leviathan record or even the singles?
Hey man, if I can get them to put their headphones on for 4 minutes and listen to one song, that's all I ask. I think if you do that, you'll be hooked.
I think it's crazy. You just tapped on it, but I think it's crazy how the music business has changed in the years we've been in it, because you're talking about just a 4-minute single. In the old days, I looked forward to the album and the artwork and the liner notes. And I mean, I consumed every bit of that. And now it's like people like my son's age, they want one song and they're on their way.
Yeah. And that's why I think the label had come up with the idea of doing one digital EP and then another digital EP a month apart, and then the full album, because we're all looking for something different. How do we get your interest? It's right. Very hard. It's hard for myself. I mean, I bought a CD a couple days ago, and I've yet to sit down and listen to the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the music business has to advance and reinvent itself as we go, especially with this whole thing we've all been dealing with for the last year and a half or whatever. But I'm just curious to see where it ends up, because I know a lot of people are doing like that one single every month or every 6 weeks, and the video that goes with it, as opposed to just a whole big package.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm kind of torn on that. For instance, the KK's Priest thing is coming out, which
right.
I'm a big fan, and it's like they did the one song they put out, and it seems like forever to get the next song, and then we got to wait till August to get the full
right.
CD. And yeah, an old guy like you and I, we're like, all right, the single, give me the album a month later, because that's
I want to hear it. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And if not, we're going to start looking for the torrent of it.
I haven't done that thing. Did you ever imagine that like Lars Ulrich back in the Napster days would be almost prophetic? He nailed this crap right on the head.
Yeah. I think he probably got lucky, but yeah.
He took a lot of shit for it, but yeah, he took a lot of shit for it back then, but he was sort of right.
Yeah, he's definitely right. Yeah, it's changed everything.
Yeah, I couldn't fathom it or see it from my limited experience, but he was totally on the money, and it's funny how everything has changed out.
Yeah, definitely.
What are you guys planning on? Are you planning on doing any sort of, I guess when the world opens fully, any sort of live version of this and taking it out anywhere?
Yeah, I get asked that all the time, and ideally, I think if we ever did anything, it'd be a show or two. Maybe a festival. Everyone's got their own their own deal. Bobby's a guitar teacher at a college level and has a lot of good gigs in town. Ripper's getting ready to do KK's Priest, and that's his main thing. Right. So, if this got some interest and someone with, the money to actually pay to get us together and go over somewhere, I wouldn't be against it. Absolutely. But as far as getting in a van and touring across the United States, I don't want to do that.
Too old. Yeah. Not that you're too old, but I'm just thinking about myself. There's no way I could think about doing that.
No, and I did that. I guess I was in my 30s when I did the Brittany Fox tour, and it was like a great big church van we toured in, and we went from Maine to Seattle to California and back to Ohio, and it was I think I slept on the floor in the van. I swapped with the one of our roadies. We swapped the front position on the floor above the engine or radiator or whatever, right, where it was hot.
I couldn't imagine doing that at this age now. No way.
No, I mean, if I was single and didn't have kids and younger, yeah, I'd try it again. But
my body wouldn't hold it.
Nah, no one's going to do that.
So Solar Storm is the new single. What do you have? Are you releasing another one after that? Is it too early?
No, actually, we will. Probably midweek, we're going to put out another lyric video because on early July, I think, is when the next EP is going to come out. So we kind of got to, keep on hitting you this month with a couple other songs. And then, like I said, in August, I believe the full CD will be out with everything and maybe some new songs. We're going to have the demos of a couple songs where Matt actually sang. So you get to hear what the songs sound like before Ripper got him. And,
right.
Matt's got a really cool voice. He's more in the vein of Don Dokken or Lou Gramm. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's really interesting to see how Tim interpreted that if you listen to the two songs, because, we got kind of stuck on the demos. We loved them. And we're like, man, I don't know how Tim's going to do anything with this. And of course, that's what he does. He's awesome.
That's his thing. What has been the reaction from the metal fans? Because this is sort of like a super group of sorts.
I mean, it's only been out a week and a couple of days. I mean, I haven't had any bad reactions to it. I mean, again, you got Bobby on guitar, amazing guitar player.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
You got Ripper, and they're tight 4-minute songs. So everyone seems to dig it.
I like that you went back to with all these different genres of music now, you went back to the classic metal sound, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, and when I was writing that first song, Leviathan, in my closet, that's just what came out. That's what I write. I was inspired guitar tone-wise by the thrash stuff from the 80s. I was trying to nail that guitar tone, which it shifted completely since then. But I can't play thrash. My right hand doesn't move that fast.
Right.
So if I tried to do it, it would be stupid. So yeah, I'm more rooted in just classic hard rock is what I play.
Right. Which, I mean, it comes across there a lot. Is there anything I've missed that you want to cover? I think I've gone through my list of questions.
No, I mean, like I said, the big thing is give it 4 minutes and listen to a song. Support it. We're selling T-shirts and cassettes.
Right.
Hit us up on Facebook, communicate with us, stay in touch. I love talking to fans and everyone.
Oh, that's good. These days, social media is the way to stay relevant, I think.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. So, no, that's all I got, man.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
You got it.
Good luck with the record and stay safe.
Yeah, keep in touch, buddy.
Will do. See ya.
All right, bye.
Ever wonder what a punch from Elton John feels like?
Or how you'd cope with having turned down the chance to be in Nirvana?
Or what signal Keith Richards gives when he wants you to get the hell out of his hotel room?
Fans of Too Much Effing Perspective don't have to wonder, because they've heard these exact stories and a jillion others on our podcast. I'm Alex Hoffman, former tour manager for Radiohead.
And I'm musician and comedy writer Alan Keller. On the TMEP show, we get guests like Nancy Wilson from Heart, Jeremiah Freites from the Lumineers, and Modern Family's Julie Bowen to tell us things they may have only shared with their therapist, clergy, or a TMZ stringer.
So join us on Too Much Effing Perspective. That's EFFING Perspective. The only podcast you crank up to 11.